What's going on, YouTube? I ran 100 rituals so you didn't have to. Let's take a look at the results. Before we get into the results, let me explain to you guys the parameters that I had set for this study. Initially, I was trying to stack as much percent increased chance to be omens as possible. So there was a few maps where I had over 50%. The problem I found with only stacking the increased chance to be omens and the rituals in your maps, you can re-roll them twice as many times. The problem with stacking just those two is once you found a good omen, like let's say we pulled an omen of Whitling, as soon as I deferred that omen, I didn't have enough tribute to continuously re-roll the ritual pages. So what I did was I dropped the percent increased chance to be omens, and I added in these tablets, which grant increased tribute. And I had a lot of 10 percenters. I used up most of them, but this one's a 9 percenter, and it'll work. I mean, it'll get the job done. The other thing I did was I found a triple tower setup, and you can do this on a double tower setup. But let's say I'm working my way into here, into this tower, right? And none of this area is uncovered. What I would do was I would pop in this tablet, the Freedom of Faith, and I would pop in an increased chance to be Omens tablet. And then I would pop in the unique tablet, the Grand Project. And that way I can jump from this tower to this tower, or from this tower to this tower. And then once I was able to get to these two towers, I would also stack the increased chance to be omens, and I would stack the increased tribute. So for the first like 20-ish maps, I was only stacking increased chance to be omens. And I'm trying to find one that's really high rolled, but I fear that I ran most of them. So I don't think I have any on my map at the moment that has like a really high, increased chance to be omens. Outside of that, outside of jumping from the towers to, get a nice triple tower setup, I also was able to do it with just a 2-tower setup. And this area was just as effective as this area here. And I just kind of continued along, and I noticed that the increased tribute worked much better, because even if I found one of those good omens, I was still able to re-roll the page. And I think that that's more important, because if I found an omen and I deferred it, let's say I found one on the first page of the ritual, the ritual page in my maps. As soon as I deferred it, I had enough ritual to re-roll the page, and then I would maybe pop it up again. And it would allow me to essentially continuously defer the good omens at a much higher rate, which means I was able to get them, in my stash tab faster. So the best solution, I think, or the best way to run this is to run the triple tablet setups with the increased tribute, the increased chance to be omens, and the Freedom of Faith, which allows you to re-roll Ritual Favor twice as many times. Now that we've set the parameters of this study, let's take a look at what I found. So in the 100 maps that I ran with rituals, I was able to get 7 ameliorations, 2 sinistral annulments, 1 sinistral erasure, 3 dextral erasures, 4 divines, 8 chaos, 5 audience, 6 greater annulments, and 1 omen of whittling. And what I did was took all these quantities and I valued them at how many exalts they cost, because I noticed that with divines you get a lot of percentages. So I wanted to simplify the math just a little bit, and I converted them all to the value of exalts. So the total exalts I was able to collect in 100 maps of rituals is 11,158.10, but we'll round that down to 11,158. I then took that value and I divided it by the price of one divine, which is 320 as of the recording of this video. I found that I was able to make 34 divine, just under 35, and that I had to run 2.87, just under 3 maps per divine, which means that I was getting 111 exalts per map, which is actually pretty good. After taking a look at this data, I thought initially that I wasn't really making that much money. But after taking a look at this data, I think that just under 3 divine, just under 3 maps per divine is actually very good, especially in the new season, the O2O season. And I think that I'm actually pretty happy with the progress. What I also did was created a pie chart of the percentage to which you're going to be pulling, or I was pulling, specific omens and specific currency. I think all in all, that if you were going to try to go for as much currency as possible, I think rituals is actually a pretty good option. I think that if you were to run enough rituals, now mind you, 100 maps is quite a lot, especially for me. I was able to do it in just under 2 days, but it was quite a lot and it got pretty tedious and pretty boring. But I think if you wanted to try to stick it out and you were just trying to currency farm, I do think that rituals is a very good option in this game. I know that GGG is releasing another update or another patch where they're going to try to make the rituals better by lowering the rarity of all of these good omens. So for now, this is the data I have prior to that patch. As soon as that patch releases, I'm going to be doing another 100 maps to try to compare the data from this set from before the patch to after the patch. I'd also like to shout out my stepdad because he is a wizard when it comes to data. And without him helping me kind of track this data and doing all of the back end stuff with spreadsheet, this would have been a lot more difficult for me. I'm not very good at spreadsheet. I like running the rituals or running the test and running the studies. But in terms of collecting the data and in terms of like putting the data on a sheet so that way people can understand it, I'm not very good at. All in all, I think the study was definitely worth it. I made quite a bit of currency from doing it. And I'm excited to be able to do it after the new patch releases, where they're hopefully going to make these a lot more common. If you haven't already, I would appreciate if you guys were able to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video. The more likes I can get on this video, the more I can understand if you guys want me to do another 100 maps after the patch. If this video kind of flops, then I'm not sure if I'll do another 100 maps because it was kind of boring. I might do them, I might not. It's really up in the air. Kind of depends on how well this video does. So if you guys could really like the video, maybe leave a comment and subscribe, that would be very appreciated. I also stream on Twitch every day. My username is Narum1. So if you guys could swing over there and maybe jump in chat, say hello, that'd be amazing. But outside of that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.